At this point, Jerry Williams going to the experience and putting Lloyd in at the middle linebacking position. First and goal to go, Ron Johnson. Touchdown, Giants.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the New York Giants. I got a couple articles here. The speculations and never cease to amaze me. Got a couple of players. Yeah, I mean, well, one is Cole Beasley, right? Interesting. There's a couple articles. Actually, there was like 3 or 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. I just grabbed 2. But I mean, talking about maybe Cole Beasley. I mean, there's the connection there with Shane and Dable, right? Shane and Dable did not bring him there to Buffalo. That was a different coach and a different GM. Okay. However, Shane's familiar with him. Dable's calling the plays, right? So he knows what Cole Beasley can do. Cole Beasley will be 33 this year. So I mean, it's not something like a long-term solution. I mean, maybe the thing would be is that you can't. It's tough to just sign him for 1 year. Because of the Giants' money situation. They could sign him possibly for, they'd have to sign for like a couple of years. Now, I mean, obviously, you can only give him so much this year because they only got so much. I mean, if they would let Darius Slayton go, they'd save themselves about $2.5 million. All right? So then that would give them about $7.5 to $8 million of salary cap. Right? Of course, if you give that all to Cole Beasley, it's going to totally deplete you. So, I mean, you would have to try to sign him, maybe 2 years, obviously. Maybe this year you give him 3 or 4, or whatever, and then you give him some extra next year. You're not going to sign him for 4 or 5 years, obviously, because of his age. But I'm saying he is familiar with, Dable. They know what he can do. I mean, his last 2 years, I believe he had, I'm going to show you the stats if I remember correctly. I think he had 82 receptions each of the past 2 seasons. I mean, sign me up for that. The one problem is that, they got, how many guys do you need? They need some maybe bigger bodied guys, on the outside. I mean, you got Wan'Dale Robinson, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard comes back. I mean, you got a boatload of guys that, could be in the slot. I mean, Cole Beasley's not, for the most part, somebody's going to wind up going deep, and you know what I mean? It's just, so I mean, I don't have a hard time seeing him blending in with the, with if it were, the Giants going out of their way to try to get him. I think, the wide receiver, the slot kind of whatever, is something that they seem to have a decent amount of depth with. I think if anything, they need the bigger body receiver. I mean, it would be fantastic if frickin' Darius Slayton could, pick up his act, Right, if they had Kenny Golladay and Darius Slayton, okay then. But I mean, Cole Beasley, yeah. Plus also, one of these articles talk about, there's some moving parts, there's some, I guess they call it moving parts with him. He's not, as I said, Shane and Dable did not bring him to Buffalo, okay. He's kind of somebody who does some talking, and I'm not exactly sure if that's somebody you want to have brought into your organization. I think it was a salary cap, but I think possibly, if I go over this article, that might be one of the reasons why the Buffalo Bills maybe didn't re-sign him, or they just let him go, because he was trashing he trashed the Dallas Cowboys after he left there. He was talking bad about the organization. Then he was trashing the NFL's policy on COVID, the vaccinations and all that. He was just making a total mockery about that. So I mean, he's somebody who likes to, any 2-year-old baby can do this, right? If you got a problem with something, well, just keep your mouth shut. You know, be a man. I don't see Cole Beasley doing that, so I'd have a hard time believing that. You know, with the salary cap money, the receivers we have, and the fact that, you know, I'm not sure that's somebody they want to bring into their organization. Period. Then I'll tell you what, these Jimmy G's, I mean, they're going on. These speculations. Apparently the Giants were in talk with the 49ers, maybe slash the Jimmy G, slash maybe his agent or whatever, see what was going on. I mean, the one thing is, I mean, if the Giants were going to do anything, they got to do it. I mean, they were in talk with it, possibly maybe before training camp, maybe if something could have happened, maybe to get him in before training camp. I mean, you know, and get him somewhat familiar with some plays, and that way maybe he'd have, you know, a little bit of training camp, and he'd have the 3 preseason games and do some bunch of, you know, some good studying, right? And as I said, the training camp and the preseason games and all, to get familiar with his wide receivers and the playbook and everything. And then possibly by the regular season, he'd, you know, not that he'd be good to go, but I mean, you know, he'd have a good leg up, shall we say, on a you know, grasp of the offense. I mean, the longer they want to wait, I mean, it'd be tough to pull a trigger on a Jimmy G trade, like, you know, second, third week of the season. What are you going to do? You got Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, and Jimmy G. I mean, you know, what are you? I mean, you can't like Daniel Jones is. I mean, you can let him go, but his money's guaranteed. You know what I mean? And the thing is with Jimmy G is, I mean, for them to do a trade with the 49ers, the 49ers would have to bite the bullet probably on quite a bit of his money. You know, I mean, the Giants would, and you know, so I mean, if the Giants were to get Jimmy G and this year not pay him a lot, they were going to have to probably ante up a little bit extra as far as draft capital to the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers got to wind up eating $20 million or so of his salary cap, you know, so I mean, but it seems like the longer they wait, the worse it would wind up being. But I'm saying possibly maybe some of these 2 articles I'm going to go over, okay, we're talking about maybe they were, you know, talking to Jimmy G and the 49ers and all, maybe just before training camp started or maybe about a month or so ago. But, I mean, it's just a little more than just speculation. I mean, the Giants apparently, okay, were actually, you know, picked the phone up and we're calling the 49ers. So let's take a deep dive, shall we, into these 2 articles. I mean, I got a couple of them on both guys here, right? But one, could the Giants sign Cole Beasley? And the other one's from the 49ers web zone. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo in talks with the New York Giants, per source. All right, the New York Giants. Here we go. Got this. This one is from Sportsnaut. All right. Yeah, I don't think I've ever read an article from Sportsnaut before, but NFL Insider suggests. I mean, this is just one of those things, you know. We put something out, you know, so people, idiots like me, wind up reading the article. So here I am. I'm the idiot reading the article. The New York Giants could be a landing spot for Cole Beasley. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to me, but the New York Giants can use all the assistance they can get to turn the offense and quarterback Daniel Jones into a viable force in 2022. And one of the NFL Insider believes Cole Beasley could be a camp acquisition that helps to achieve that goal. Beasley is one of the few notable players still available on the free agent market. Yeah, sometimes there's a reason why. Okay. After being released by the Buffalo Bills in March after 3 productive seasons, he surprisingly has not yet committed to a team for the 2022 season. So I'm sure people have reached out to him. Maybe he's waiting for somebody else. Maybe he's waiting for a little more money. Who knows? But, you know, I'd be surprised if he's not on a team by the beginning of the season. But it is what it is. I mean, sometimes maybe they said there's a reason why he likes to talk and all that. So maybe there's not as much interest. Maybe there's not enough money being dished out to him. maybe beggars can't be choosy. Maybe sooner or later he's going to be like, okay, I'll accept $5 million a year. I was kind of hoping for 8 or 9, but I mean, so we'll wait and see. We got here. During the Tuesday appearance on the NFL Network, league insider Mike Garoppolo made the case for why Cole Beasley would be a worthwhile addition to any team in the NFL. This is a guy with 164 catches over the last 2 years, tied for 10th most in the NFL. I mean, you can't deny him that. Absolutely not. Garoppolo said, but I mean, you also got to make sure, is that, where's he going to go? Is there a Josh Allen there? Is there Patrick Mahomes there? Is there Aaron Rodgers there? I mean, is there somebody who can get him the ball? Or is there a Daniel Jones there? There's a Daniel Jones or maybe somebody a little worse, he may not quite get that many catches. Yeah, he's 33, but the targets have gone up the last 3 years. He had a career high 112 targets last year. This is a guy who still thinks he has good football left, and the Bills agreed. There was a possibility he was going to return to Buffalo, but there were a lot of moving parts with Cole Beasley. That's why he became a free agent. The guy, not impressed with him. Not impressed with him. There we go. Yeah. The Giants currently have a solid receiver corps. I don't know why this person, Mike Garoppolo, would. Yeah. I mean, the Giants may be a secondary help, maybe inside linebacker help, maybe, or, defensive line out, something like that. But I mean, if healthy, the Giants wide receiver corps is, okay. Veteran Kenny Golladay, 2021 first-round draft pick, Kadarius Toney, 2022 second-round pick, Wan'Dale Robinson, and the team's longest tenured receiver, the longest tenured player, period, as of right now, Sterling Shepard. There's a lot of hope that new head coach Brian Daboll could do for the Giants offense as he did when he served as the offensive coordinator for the Bills, except for the biggest part. They had Josh Allen. We have Daniel Jones. Cole Beasley stats for 2021, 82 catches, 693 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, the guy's, not going to set the world on. He's not going to catch the ball and run for 80 yards, blah, 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 blah. But I'll tell you what, the guy gets open. You get, what do we got? It's about 8 yards of reception. I mean, right? Okay. Yeah, if you hit him on a 3rd and 27 and he gets 8 yards for you, okay, that's, you move the ball 8 yards down the field. Okay. But the guy gets open. Catches the ball. Right? Hard to deny that. However, that is far from a guarantee with Daniel Jones as his quarterback instead of Josh Allen. And Shepard's new Achilles injury throws a new wrench into the receiving situation, with Beasley having a connection to Daboll and new general manager Jim Shane. Yeah, Jim Shane. Huh, okay. Apparently, I guess Joe Shane's is Jim Shane. All right, well, maybe that's just a typo error. Another addition from Buffalo. Garoppolo believes the Giants should be taken seriously as a possible destination for the former Dallas Cowboys player in the next few weeks. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about, Sterling Shepard. I mean, the guy, Sterling, I'm not saying he's this close to coming back, but I'll tell you what, I saw him doing some running around in a video out there. Guy looked pretty good. I'm not saying he's going to be on the field next week, but I'd have a hard time believing, just looking at that video, where in the next, say, 2 months, he couldn't possibly be back on the field. I'm not saying he'll be there in Tennessee. He'll probably be on the sideline rooting the Giants on, rooting his guts out for the Giants. That's why I freaking love the guy. Just gets injured too much. But I could certainly see, this is the 1st of August, 2 months, I could see. Yeah. And when he does come back, they easing him in. They're not, all right, go get him, Shep. We'll put you in there for 80 plays. We'll see you at the end of the game. Good luck and God bless. Hope you don't get in. No, slowly, put him in for 20, 30 plays, next week 30, 40 plays, and maybe 50 play or whatever, slowly. There is, I'm told, significant interest across the league. It's just a matter of waiting for the right opportunity. Significant money. He's not just going to go play for a veteran minimum deal. Well, I don't blame him either. So Cole Beasley continues to weigh options. Look, he was in Buffalo the last couple of years. Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen went down to the Giants. So you'd be wise to think there's at least a little bit of interest from the Giants. Yeah, But, as I said, one of the things the Giants don't need really, if healthy, once again, they keep stressing that, if healthy. I'm not saying they got the greatest wide receiver core in the whole league. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they have weaknesses where I think that they were going to go out and get somebody. I think they can maybe, try to upgrade other areas instead of maybe maybe upgrade, they can find a tight end who's getting that type of production out there. I would think about maybe bringing him in. But so we got, let's see. In New York, Beasley would surely have a bunch of opportunities as one of the few players who would completely know the ins and outs of the Daboll offense. However, landing a significant payday may be the issue. I'm saying, they could pay him whatever, a couple million this year. If they, and then they would have to, ante up a little bit more next year, sign to maybe a 2-year deal, right? As the Giants have been cash strapped throughout the offseason, that's why they traded their best cornerback, James Bradbury, in the spring. Then we got this one here, inside from Yard Barker, insider. Wide receiver Cole Beasley, Brian Daboll could reunite on the Giants. They could, but probably not. The New York Giants can use all the assistance they can get to turn his offense and quarterback Daniel Jones into a viable force in 2022. One of the NFL insiders believes Cole Beasley could be a training camp acquisition that helps to achieve that goal. Beasley is one of the few notable players still available in the free agent market after being released by the Buffalo Bills in March. The 3 productive seasons, he's surprisingly is not yet committed to a team 2022. We got here. During a Tuesday appearance on the NFL Network, league insider Mike Garoppolo made the case for why Cole Beasley would be a worthwhile addition to any NFL team. And we kind of read the same thing. Giants currently have a solid receiver core with veteran Kenny wide receiver, right? So it's pretty much saying all the same thing here. And we got, it's all pretty much the same thing. Yeah, far from guaranteed. Daniel Jones, quarterback said Josh Allen. It's pretty much the same article, right? I know I saw another article pretty much just said all the same things. I don't really see it happening. The thing is you're gonna keep bringing in wide receivers to try to make Daniel Jones better. If you have to bring in, all these good wide receivers just to try to make Daniel Jones better, that might be telling you all you need to know about Daniel Jones. So, I don't think, as I said, I think the Giants are going to go out and spend any kind of money at all. I said maybe a tight end, maybe somebody in the secondary, defensive line, something along with inside linebacker. There's other places they could. A nice center. John Feliciano, whatever gets hurt. Who's the backup? Is there somebody, you can just step right in there and just take over and do a nice, good job? One of the worst things you can have is pressure right up the middle. I think they could even maybe upgrade the center position. Spend the money on a wide receiver. I just don't see it happening. And plus, I don't think Cole Beasley is somebody the Giants want to bring in to their team, to their organization. Guy talks too much. So, but as I said, look, he's never really been a solid starter. With the guy, he's been around for a long time. I didn't realize 2012. I thought maybe 2015, maybe 2014. I didn't realize he was been around that long. 2012. So he's going back to the Romo era, right? But he's played. The guy stays healthy. Look, 16, 15. Okay, 16. I'm sorry. So he missed a game. I'm thinking 16 games. There were 17 games left. But then he missed one game here, one game here. But 16 missed one game. 16 missed two games. So it's like the guy's healthy. The guy's available, which is one thing the Giants wide receiving corps can't say. Okay, with Shepard, Golladay, and Kadarius Toney. And even Darius Slayton, he gets a little nicked up here and there too. It's just you'll notice here he's not ever really been a solid starter. Last year he was only started 8 games, then it was 10 and 10. Started most of the games, but there was 5 games he played in and he wasn't the starter. But then you go back with the Cowboys. He only started 4 here, 6 there, 3, and possibly some of this. So he started maybe 3 games here. Why? Well, maybe because one of their starting wide receivers was injured. Same thing here, starting 2. Why? Well, because maybe one of the wide receivers started, maybe Dez Bryant was injured. So maybe they put him, or something along those lines, But that's it. Look, 82 catches, 60, 75. It's like 52. The guy gets open. Get him the ball. Nothing ever super spectacular here. Right? 8.5 yards last year, then 11, 10, 8, 11, 10. Nothing. But, the guy gets open, guy catches the ball, guy moves the chains, right? So, first downs, 53 first downs in 2020, 51 here, right? So, I just don't see the Giants doing it. That they don't need that from their wide receivers. Yeah. But, then we have this here, the Jimmy G, all right, 49ers web zone. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo in talks with the New York Giants, press source. So, now, a lot of these people, you want to put stuff out and all that, but, some of these people are putting their reputations and all this stuff on the line. And, you can be wrong once or twice or here or there or something like that, but if you're constantly just putting stuff out there, per source, and I'm the source, and I'm wrong 9 out of 10 times. Well, guess what? People are going to stop writing about you, talking about you. You know what I mean? So some of this has got to have some merit to it, okay? And you'll notice here, it was like July 30th, which is like 2 days ago. All right, he's in talks. So, well, let's see here. For months, San Francisco 49ers fans have been awaiting closure surrounding the quarterback situation, Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Finally got some last week when head coach Kyle Shanahan declared that Lance was the guy moving forward at the position. Even more closure around Garoppolo could be on its way soon, as Marco Martinez of the 49ers Red Zone podcast confirmed to me on Thursday that the veteran's quarterback agent has indeed been in talks with the New York Giants. Okay? Who have had themselves a bit of a quarterback dilemma. Yeah, you can say that. After electing to bypass on Daniel Jones' 5th-year option and signing veteran Tyrod Taylor to be a 2-year deal in the offseason. Remember, Garoppolo currently has 1 year and $24.2 million left on his contract, but it's highly unlikely that he'll play this season at that number, given the lack of available cap space from potential suitors. And as I said, I'm not exactly sure, how it all going to work out or whatever. I said maybe if the Giants want to, just saying, they're going to go to the 49ers, we'll give you next year's first round and we'll throw in whatever, a second rounder the following year, whatever, if you pay X amount of dollars of his salary cap or, so. However, since Garoppolo's contract is non-guaranteed and since the 49ers have officially granted him permission to seek a trade, the veteran quarterback is free to negotiate a rework contract with other teams, which can be agreed to when a trade occurs. For all intents and purposes, Garoppolo is a free agent who can work out a contract with potential suitors. Right? Then once that contract has been agreed to in principle, the 49ers and that team can execute a trade, gaining compensation in return, and essentially making this an exchange, a sign and trade. Martinez's words came the same day that the New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones was seen struggling at training camp, leading some to question whether the Giants may look for a trade or even let veteran Tyrod Taylor take some of the first-team snaps. Well, I'll tell you what, you'll start letting Tyrod take some of the first-team snaps. There may not be any going back. New York Daily News' Pat Leonard wrote that Daniel Jones' offense was a mess on Friday, and even entertained the idea of trading for Garoppolo himself. The rookie head coach, Brian Daboll, is only 3 practices into his first Giants training camp, but Daniel Jones' first-string offense was a mess on Friday. Quickly, it seems inevitable that at some point Daboll may need to see what his first-string offense looks like with Tyrod Taylor under center instead. Or maybe the Giants actually would entertain a trade for the San Francisco 49ers Jimmy Garoppolo after all. In fact, with the quarterback situation in limbo and the Giants not expected to contend heavily in 2022, Garoppolo could elevate the team's floor, attracting potential free agents in 2023 offseason, while serving as a bridge quarterback to whoever may be the New York Giants quarterback of the future. The Giants do have Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Sterling Shepard, all of whom work well after the catch, which could play to Garoppolo's strengths on the new Daboll offense, while also having a big-bodied receiver in Kenny Golladay, who may serve as a safety blanket for the quarterback as a contested catch option should he remain healthy. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it would be protect Garoppolo, have him get the ball out of his hands fast, right? Get it to the receiver, let the receiver catch it, do what he does, get some yards, hopefully maybe move the chains and move on down the field. And if he has time, they're going to take a shot deep. You got Kenny Golladay, right? Let's see here. While a trade may not materialize, given the fact that it's only the early stages, it's interesting to note that Garoppolo has received interest from his services on a contingency that he reworks his contract. So, I mean, a lot of it, some of it's just kind of up to him, right? By choosing to rework his contract for teams, Garoppolo will almost assuredly get to choose his next destination. Although the 49ers will obviously have the final say in the trade. And then we got this one here, right? From Fansided. There we go. New York Giants Jimmy Garoppolo buzz grows louder after latest report by Jerry Trotta 10 hours ago. All right. That's pretty fresh. The New York Giants quarterback outlook for the upcoming season once seemed straightforward. Give Daniel Jones every opportunity to prove he's the long-term solution at the position. With each week that passes, though, it becomes increasingly apparent that the Giants may not be committed to Jones not committed to this year. So, heading into the weekend, Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News reported backup Tyrod Taylor has been the superior player at training camp. Now, I know Tyrod's a good quality quarterback, good backup, this, that, and other. But I mean, if he's a superior quarterback, yeah. Daboll and Shane, because I'm not there. All I'm going by is the guy, by these reporters who are at the camp, who are there like year in and year out, and they know what they're talking about. They know what they're looking at. I mean, what they're saying here is maybe not so much what's going on through Shane and Daboll's minds, but they know what they're talking about, right? Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, say the other Jim Shane, share a similar opinion on the former number 6 overall pick. The Giants could pull the plug on Jones sooner than expected, and it's not likely they have any ties to Jones beyond 2022. And they have declined his 5th-year option, so they could roll with Taylor, and no one would bat an eyelash. You know what would completely upend everything, though? If the Giants added Jimmy Garoppolo to their already crowded quarterback room. Yeah, maybe you got Webb, Tyrod Taylor, and you got Daniel Jones. Oh, yeah. The veteran quarterback has been linked with the New York Giants for multiple weeks now, and the buzz will only grow louder after Marco Martinez of the 49ers Red Zone, which I just read the other article, podcast, reported that Jimmy G's agent has been in talk with the Giants. So that's not telling you much of what they think about Daniel Jones. All right. Garoppolo has been in talks with the Giants source. 49ers quarterback is in talks with the Giants per source for months. San Francisco 49ers fan have been awaiting closure surrounding the quarterback situation with Jimmy Garoppolo and obviously Trey Lance. Let's see here. The Giants have reportedly been in talks with Jimmy Garoppolo's representatives. Giants trading for Garoppolo is out of the equation. With less than $5.5 million in remaining cap space, which ranks 30th in the league, New York doesn't have the financial wherewithal to absorb Garoppolo's $26.59 million cap hit. So sometimes where there's a will, there's a way, though. 49ers lost whatever leverage they had in trade talks when they appointed Trey Lance as the starter. Assuming there's no team desperate enough, the Seahawks might be the only team who fits the bill because they need a quarterback and they have some money. To fit the bill, they give up assets for Garoppolo. The Giants could bide their time and wait for San Fran to release the signal caller. Mm-hmm. Then they wouldn't have to ante up any draft picks. That would certainly make getting Garoppolo more feasible. At that point, the Giants would likely enter a bidding war for the 31-year-old, as multiple teams, including the Seahawks, the Browns, the Texans, the Steelers, and the Lions, would seemingly be vying for his signature, given the respective uncertainty at that position on their teams. The timing of this report shouldn't be understated either. As it surfaced immediately following Jones's reporting struggles at camp. So, if he's having struggles now, right? Don't care that it's early. This is bad, and it's from Pat Leonard. It's no stretch to envision Brian Daboll and the Giants trying Tyrod Taylor or Jimmy G if Daniel Jones' first-string offense doesn't pick it up. So, if the Duke product was balling out in practice, the Garoppolo buzz wouldn't be nearly as overwhelming. Who knows? The Giants might have come out and ruled out a move for the out-of-favor 49er. Yeah, they might have. Whatever the case, the report suggests Jones is running out of time to stake his claim as New York's Week 1 starter. I'll tell you what, if we got, Tyrod Taylor in there, I'm not going to say he would take us to a Super Bowl, but I'll tell you what, I would certainly feel comfortable with that man behind center. The longer that persists, the more Garoppolo will be linked with a move to East Rutherford. For all of the winning he's done in his career, acquiring Jimmy G would confirm that things went terribly wrong with the Giants this offseason. If healthy, Jimmy G's a winner. So now we got this here. We got the odds. All right. It goes through it. Shows you the odds. The Giants are the odds-on favorite. All right. And it's the guys at Vegas. The New York Giants are now the favorite to be Jimmy Garoppolo's next team over at BetLine. So, the guys at, Vegas, they put these odds up there for a reason. They just don't, let's make the Giants. No, they know. They know something. All right. Giants are 200. Browns are 225. The Seahawks are 350. The Texans, 5. They got the Jets. We just drafted Zach Wilson. My God. My goodness. But, the Bears, the Saints. I can see all these teams, yeah, absolutely. I don't see the Steelers here, though. But apparently in Vegas, the Giants are the odds-on favorite to land Jimmy Garoppolo. So, you see, the Cole Beasley, it's all fine and fantastic and everything. I just don't see that happening. Once again, a lot of it, people bring up speculations, and it's like, oh my God, wow, the Giants are going to go after who? It's just sometimes it's just to grab attention, just to get people to read your articles and all that and everything. It would, in a way, small way, it would be nice. In a small way, it makes a little bit of sense. If you look at it like maybe 80-20, maybe 20% of it maybe makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, I can see that happening. But the other 80%, it's like, yeah, as I said, I mean, they got a bunch of wide receivers, you know, if they're healthy. I mean, right? That can kind of do what Cole Beasley can do. I mean, also you got to look at it too. Cole Beasley, you know, with the Buffalo offense, had Josh Allen throwing the ball, not Daniel Jones. Okay, so I mean that's kind of Cole Beasley kind of shined a little bit there. I mean, he's never, as you saw in those stats, he's never been. He hasn't started. He's played in like almost all the games every year, but he's not has never been like a starter all 16 games. I mean, he's not, right? I mean, and I said, the Giants, I said, when Shepard comes back, I mean, there was a video I saw a couple of days ago with Sterling Shepard out there running around, breaking down his patterns and going, I mean, looking not too bad. I mean, I'm sure he's not ready to go yet, but I mean, in the video I saw, it looked like he was looking pretty good. I mean, and you consider it's only been so many months since he got hurt. I mean, tell you what, that freaking dude's doing fantastic. So, I mean, hopefully, just saying, 2 months, we get Sterling Shepard back, right? So say maybe, say the end of September, maybe October, right? If we're lucky, knock on wood. Let me do that again, knock on wood. Because we're talking about Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney. Just say we got Sterling Shepard and for some miracle from God, Sterling Shepard's actually healthy at the beginning of October. And by some other miracle of God, Kadarius Toney's actually healthy. It's just some miracle, right? And then we got Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, you got 3 guys out there running around that pretty much do the same thing Cole Beasley can do, right? And Cole, and the guy, Wan'Dale Robinson, even Saquon Barkley, right? I mean, right? But I mean, Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kadarius Toney, those guys, they're all under contract. We got them all signed. They're under the salary cap. We got a little bit extra space. Why are you going to go out and try to sign Cole Beasley too? You don't really need that. The only thing, I mean, with Cole Beasley would be like if, Kadarius Toney got hurt all the time, Sterling Shepard got, But I mean, we're trying to hopefully kind of bank on the fact that those guys might get healthy and stay reasonably healthy. Plus, also, I said I don't think Cole Beasley is much of a somebody you want in the locker room, because if he sees something that goes bad or something, he's like a 2-year-old child. So I mean, that's not something I would want to bring into my organization. Period. Maybe one of the reasons why he's not signed. Possibly, I mean, I'm sure because what he can do. I'm sure possibly maybe before the season starts, maybe somebody might offer him some money and he might want to join the team. But I mean, as of right now, he's not signed. And I said that with Jimmy G. I mean, the one article I saw was like from the 49ers web zone. It looks like it was on July 30th. So we're like talking like 2 days ago. He's in talks or was in talks with the New York Giants. I mean, as I said, that's something that if they're gonna pull the trigger on it, the sooner the better. But apparently, also according reading some of the articles from the New York Giants' perspective, a couple of the reporters don't think that Danny Dimes has been looking super. He looked okay the first day, but apparently, I don't know, maybe the last 3 days or so. He's had some touchdown passes, of course. But when you're in the red zone and say he runs 30 or 40 plays, just saying, yeah, you're going to throw a touchdown pass or two. But apparently, some of the reporters don't seem to think that he's maybe grasping the offense as well as he should, or he's doing as well as he should, or because it's not an easy offense. It's not the Clapper offense. This is a little more advanced, more moving parts, and you got to do more thinking, and you got more receivers out there, So it's not as easy to grasp. So some of the reporters do seem to think that Daniel Jones, and also when Shane and Dable came in, I'm sure they hit the film, looking. Do we want to sign this guy to a 5th year, right? At like $22 million? Or do we want to pass on it and just say he balls out? We're going to have to dish out $35 million, right? So do we going to want to do 22 or maybe do for 35 or maybe do nothing? So, they're looking. Because, if it looks like there's a good chance that, yeah, I don't know. I think this guy might grasp the concept here. Let's pick up the 5th-year option, get him at 22 instead of having to pay him 35, right? That makes a lot of sense to me. But, you know, they were looking. It's, you know, looking at the film and all this and everything. They're like, yep, not going to pick up the 5th-year option. You know, that's a little bit of a telltale sign. That, you know, it doesn't seem to have the utmost confidence in maybe what Daniel Jones can do. So, I mean, maybe that's why they're looking at it, you know, possibly Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G, you know, last year what he did in, you know, during the regular season, very, very good job. But, you know, they want to hand the keys over to Trey Lance now. Now it's his team. So, but, you know, Jimmy G, when he was healthy, okay, took the 49ers to a Super Bowl. And if they didn't lay an egg in the 4th quarter, they possibly would have won another Super Bowl. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'm saying, I mean, Jimmy G can take you into the playoffs. He can take you to a Super Bowl, okay? His problem is, you know, he gets injured a lot. So, I mean, you know, that's something you're going to have to wind up weighing. However, you know, with the Giants, maybe offensive line getting better, 2 good tackles, maybe shore up the offensive line a little bit better. Maybe he won't get hit as much. Maybe, you know, he won't get injured as much or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's something they got to weigh. But, I mean, I'm kind of thinking that if they were going to do anything with Jimmy G, they would have pulled the plug by now. I mean, you know, not you know, a week or 2 into training camp, but yeah, you never know. The thing you don't know is what Shane and Dable think of him, because they're going to say, you know, oh no, he's I like what he's doing. Yeah, he's picking up he's grasping the concept. He's doing good. He's learning. He's working hard. I really feel good about, you know, I mean, they're not going to say, hey, yeah, this guy's kind of freaking lost out there. I'll tell you what, I can't wait for this season to be over. That guy'd be canned so fast, it'll make his head, you know, I mean, they're not going to say that. They're going to say the right things. So you don't know exactly, you know, how close he is to getting canned until they, you know, make the move. And if they make the move, that tells you all they need to know about Daniel Jones. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!